Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Take Data Engineer. So in this video we will see GCP Google Cloud Platform. Okay, so basically like for data engineer, what are the GCP component which is required for I can say orchestrating the data flow and data pipeline and for making the projects. So what are the component which basically we have to cover it for making the end-to-end data pipelines in the GCP. Okay, so we will see the component GCP component, and apart from that we will see one component in the details like what are the use and all. Because most of the theoretical questions apart from practical knowledge, theoretical questions also asked on this topic. Okay, so like for data engineer who have working in the GCP, so now we have three most familiar I can say our cloud platform. One is the GCP, Google Cloud Platform, other is the Azure, and third one is the AWS. Okay, so all three cloud platform based on the company need they used to ask. So they are basic details like how we are working on the on-prem and the same system how we are utilizing and how we are working with the cloud. It is similar, so only nomenclature is different and some functionality is different. Apart from that, most of the working functionality is same. It has like how in Spark how we have on-prem Hive, similar we have BigQuery in the GCP, we have Redshift in the AWS. So how data warehouse work, so similar things we can see in GCP, AWS, and Azure also. Okay, so first start with the GCS. So GCS is nothing basically Google Cloud Storage. Okay, so for any object storage like backup, image, log, raw file, any unstructured data, any data like backup or any raw data, whatever we have. So for any storing purpose in GCP we have GCS. Okay, and any data warehousing solution, any storing and analyzing large data sets, we have real-time analytics or historical data observations, we have BigQuery as a other component. Then third component we should know as a cloud PubSub. So PubSub is nothing basically a massing services. It's like a producer and consumer how we have with Kafka, similar to we have cloud PubSub. Okay, then other component would be the data flow. Data flow is basically based on the Apache Beam, which is managed service for processing and transforming streaming and batch data. So for data flow is basically for batch data as well as streaming data. So if we have like data processing pipeline or real-time streaming processing pipeline, we will use the data flow and data proc. So we have managed Spark and Hadoop services. We can create the cluster and then we can use the Spark or Hadoop services. So again for batch processing, distributed processing, and running machine learning algorithm, we have the data proc for that. Okay, so apart from data proc, we should know as a data prep. So data prep is nothing but it's a cleansing or a preparing tool for data analysis. So basically for if we have use case something related to data wrangling, cleansing, or transforming any data, we can use the data prep. Then we have the Cloud SQL. So Cloud SQL is nothing but it's a fully managed relational database. So if you want any relational database like Postgres, MySQL under the GCP cloud, we can use the Cloud SQL. So mostly these are the component basically required for data engineer. Okay, then we have the Cloud Spanner. So Cloud Spanner is nothing but it's a high availability scalable transactional applications. Okay, so that is nothing but a relational database services. So how Cloud Spanner is different from Cloud SQL, we will see in the later upcoming video. So, but in this video we are covering like what are the component GCP component which is required for if you are either participating in any GCP related data engineering interview or you are working project with the GCP. So that is the component mostly required. Then we have the Cloud Bigtable. So Bigtable is nothing but it's like a NoSQL database, which is for storing the large volume of single key value data with low latency and all. Okay, like time series data, IoT, and analyticals workload, we can use the Cloud Bigtable. Then we have the cloud function. So based on certain event, if we wanted to execute our functions based on certain response of certain events, we can use the cloud function. Similar to that, we have the Lambda function in AWS. Okay, then we have the Cloud Composer. So Cloud Composer is nothing but it's a managed Apache Spark orchestration work or orchestration airflow. which is similar to the airflow which is we have in the on-prem. Okay, then AI machine learning, so this is not required, but yeah, we should know because sometimes data engineer mostly work with the data scientists, so we should know like what are the so for AI training data, what are the data features required, data in what format required, so we should know. Okay, then we have the cloud database like a NoSQL database. Then apart from that, we have the two mostly important thing. It's a DLP. DLP is nothing but it is for analyzing and identifying the sensitive data. So data loss prevention, how we can apply on the data. We have for this we have the cloud data loss prevention. This is important nowadays. Then we have the IMA. IMA for managing the GCP resources, like how our data proc is accessing the GCS and all. We can use the IMA. Then apart from that, for this is required only for the data analytics. Looker is something like Power BI or Tableau. We have the business intelligence tool also under GCP, that is called Looker. So that is not important, but yeah, if we have knowledge, that is well and good. Then other things like cloud load balancing, so where in which instance load is more and less, so you can check it by cloud load balancing. Then cloud monitoring and logging, like tools for monitor and logging the health of your data pipeline infrastructure. So for monitoring your data pipeline, we have the cloud monitor. So we have cloud watch in our AWS. Similar, we have the cloud monitoring and logging. It's called operation suite. Okay, so these are the component which is basically required for completing or doing any end-to-end data pipeline. Okay, so here we can see the integrating GCP component in the data engineering pipeline. So we have the data ingestion. So for data ingestion, either we can clone it through the cloud pubs of real time, or we can do the batch processing through the cloud storage or cloud SQL. Then we have the data processing. We can either do it through data flow, Apache Beam, or cloud function. You have the real time processing on data proc we have. Then we have the for data storage, it is stored in the BigQuery or cloud big table. Here that we can do the data transformation, we can use the data prep, data proc. Okay, so this all these things we have seen above also. Okay, so how we are was for what component required for what purpose. Okay, so start with the first component, that is called GCS. So what is GCS, why we are using, how, what is the structure and all, we can see in the details. So GCS is nothing but it's a Google Cloud Storage. It is an object storage service, okay, that allow user to store and retrieve any amount of data at any time. So GCS is nothing but the object storage. So it designed to offer high scalability. Scalability means you can scale your data. Suppose now your data is 500 MB. Now future, if you're getting the 5 TB data, you can scale your data based on your need. Durability and availability. Availability means it is available in on the region, while providing the flexible solution for storing various type of data. So you can store any data like document data, image, backup, log, or many more types of data. Okay, so GCS is nothing basically, it's a cloud, Google Cloud Storage is the managed services. Okay, so you don't have to manage the infrastructure and all, you don't have to manage about the scalability and all, everything is managed by the Google. So what is the key component in GCS? So one is the bucket. So top thing is bucket. So bucket are nothing but it's a fundamental container in GCS where objects are stored. Okay, so first you have to create a bucket. If you are wanted to store in your data, you can you can create a bucket. So bucket is nothing but it's a unique global namespace. So each bucket name must be globally unique across the GCP. So whatever you will create a bucket, the name should be unique. Okay, so bucket can be created specific to a geographical region. Okay, so if you will create the bucket, you are able to select the region, which region you wanted to create. You can configure your automatic deletion archival of object using bucket lifecycle policies also. You can attach your policy also when you wanted to delete the bucket. So first you have to create the bucket. Under bucket you can create a object. So object is nothing but it's a piece of data. So whatever file you wanted to upload, that is called your object. So for storing that file you need the bucket. Okay, so each object is stored is a key value pair. Key is nothing but it's object name. Whatever the object you will create, it's a object name, and value is the data itself. You should remember that. So object you are storing is a key value pair. Key is nothing but object name. It's called object ID, and value is the data itself. So you can store your data from byte to multiple terabyte also. uh, so once you'll upload, so GCS is basically object in GCS is immutable. Immutable means once you upload, that cannot be modified directly. So you can upload, upload a new version of data, you can make the version, but whatever the data you have uploaded, you can't change that. Then an other component comes like object metadata. So object metadata is nothing but it's every object in GCS has a metadata. So metadata is nothing but it's like data about data. So whatever the information required for storing the data, you can use that. So include the details like object size, creation time, when it's got created, what are the class we have used, or custom metadata like user can add the custom method like key value pair or whatever the version number or access control, you can use that. So for in creating anything in GCS, we have the first we have to create the bucket, then we have the object, and then the object metadata. Then now comes to the storage class. So a storage class is very important. So that's why we are using the storage class, like for what type of access, for what a storage, what access storage class required. So GCS basically offer different variety of storage class, okay, that allow you to optimize, because if you are using the GCS cloud, so you have to optimize your charge also, optimize your cost also based on access and frequency or latency need, okay. So we have the multiple storage class. First is called standard. So standard is nothing but designed for frequently access data. So so if your need is to frequently access your data, so where there is a low latency and high throughput required, you can use the standard. Then second is the nearline. So nearline is nothing but when we will use nearline, so nearline is suitable for infrequently access data. About suppose you wanted to access a data within a month. So month in one time if you wanted to access data, you can use the nearline storage. Okay, ideal for backup or archival data. So if you wanted to do some backup, you can use the nearline. Then the third is the cold line. So cold line is nothing but this is designed for data that is accessed very infrequently. So if once a year if you want, you can use the cold line. And then fourth is the archive. So archive is the most cost effective option for data that is rarely accessed in a typically used for long time cold storage, like it's like a for cold storage types of purpose. If you want, you can use the archive. So nowadays, mostly if you want a frequently access, you can use the standard. Then we have the near line per month, for cold line for a year, and archival for cold storage. If you wanted rarely access, then you can use the archive. So these are the storage class we have. So storage class. So whenever you are doing any project in GCS, so based on your need, based on your cost, you can choose the storage class. Okay, to retrieve your data. Okay. Then now comes to if you're storing your data or if you're mapping your data like from GCS to BigQuery or Datafrog or Dataflow, so you have to do two things. So GCS allow fine grained over control your bucket and object by, so you can use the IMA role like identity access management, how for each role what are the access you are giving, okay. And then ACS, access control list, okay. So for each class is a storage, each services, each object, and each object you can provide the IMA role and ACL, okay. So you can assign role. So role you can give something in the admin role or viewer role or something, and you can use the services by IMA role. And then ACL also, access control list you can also provide, okay. So if you're not providing any list, it would be by default it's like a public, allow you to make certain object to publicly accessible also. Then you can inform the uniform or uniform on fine grained access also you can do for each object. Like suppose you are uploading one data and then there is certain things required, you can use the object versioning also. Object versioning also you can do, you can use the signed URL also in the GCS, okay. Then how we are doing the bucket lifecycle management. So how, so if you wanted to delete the bucket automatically after a certain time or what, you can use that policies also, okay. So these are the component basically required, and this is the GCS, how we are creating our GCS and all. So we covered this topic under that video, okay. Thank you, thanks for watching.